Namaste. Welcome to Material and Methods of Building Construction class. Today I am giving a brief introduction to underground structure. I am Professor Jagdish Chandra at Dayansar College of Architecture, former Professor and HOD, School of Architecture, MSRIT, and former Director, School of Architecture, Rewa University. Underground structure. As the name suggests, it is some structure below the surface of the earth. And in your day-to-day experience, we will come across so many applications of underground structure. It may be in railways, it may be subways, it may be in highways, sewage, water treatment, water support, water transport, material storage, and so many other works. And it mainly involves removal of soil and rock masses from their initial locations. So that means you have to dig out and then do some construction, and again partially you have to fill back, and the remaining will be taken out somewhere. So this is the basics of underground structure. In this slide you will see the first slide. It shows an entrance to an underground structure. So normally the entrance will be from the surface. So here you can see on a sloping surface you will see the entrance, and then there are few steps and all. So it leads to the basement or underground structure. So this is a common phenomenon in most of the underground structure. So you can see similar kind of things to the entrance of subways, and then in New Delhi, that Connaught Place, which is very nice open space in the heart of the city, and even today it looks like an open space, but below that green lawn, that open space, you will see a shopping center. So these are all the various ways an architect can make use of underground structure. So on the second slide you can see a subway or a tunnel. So this is a common thing which we have come across in our day-to-day in metros, in railway stations, in airport, and so many other places. In this slide, that is the top one, you can see a complete structure below the ground. So this structure is car parking for Sydney Opera House. So the whole car parking, the whole structure has been located below the ground. So that means you can imagine the size, and also you can imagine how architects can construct so many huge structure and all below the ground. Similarly, the other slide below, you will see a stadium itself below the ground. So this is located in Norway, and the stadium is used for Winter Olympics. So that means a stadium itself can be located below the ground. So that means how much creative and innovative our architects are today. Naturally, any underground structure is expensive when compared to any structure above the ground. And another important thing is underground structure should be able to withstand the earth pressure forces. All around the building there will be pressure from the earth. So that has to be taken care, and similarly there will be groundwater seepage. So that also has to be taken care. Whereas any structure above the ground, we don't have the above problems, but we have to take care of wind forces, and then we have to take care of snow load also in cold countries. When an entire earth sheltered house is built completely underground, it is called underground structure. And similarly, if you have any atrium or courtyard of sufficiently big in size, so you can make use of this underground structure below that also, but the courtyard remain intact. So it looks like an open space only, but below the courtyard there may be an underground structure. So this also will be a good idea, and many times this can be adopted in old buildings where you cannot touch the old buildings, and whatever you do today it may not match with the old building. To avoid all these things, you can go for underground structure, and then at the same time you can retain the open court as it is. For this, the best example is Louvre Museum. You can see this in the coming slides. In this slide, the top one, you can see the section of the structure in which you can see the basement, and also various external forces that are applied here also can be seen here. So that means axial load from the top of the building, and then lateral load, that is from the surrounding earth, so that also you can see, and then loads from superstructure has to be properly dispensed to the solid rock below the earth, so that has to be taken care, and then moisture penetration from the surrounding ground also has to be taken care. So these are all the important external forces one has to keep in mind. The other two slides explains, the left one shows the courtyard, what I told in the previous slide. So it is a courtyard in Louvre Museum in Paris, France. So this Louvre Museum is an old Renaissance structure, and anything that is built today may not match. So the architect IMPI is the architect for this. So he has an innovative idea. What he did, he has retained the courtyard as it is, but only for the entrance he created some structure which is a contrast to the historical building, that is a modern glass pyramid. So it looks like a contrast, and once if you go below, then you will see an entire structure. So there is no problem of matching with the existing building. All those problems are there. So in the second slide you can see the sectional view. So you can see the basement structure. Lot of museum space has been created below the ground, and the other slide shows some fountains and then entrance to the museum through a glass pyramid. So like that it has become an interesting structure and tourist attraction also. So these are all the ways one can think of underground structure as an architect. In this slide we can see a tunnel below the river. So this is in Kolkata. So you can see for metro they have constructed a twin tunnel which is running below the river. So these are the ways one can think of. That is, even if river is there, you can easily cross that river below the ground instead of a bridge. Underground structure will also have some advantages. They reduce the maintenance cost of the system, then avoid troubling to surface life and traffic during construction, because this is a big problem whenever any this construction is going on. So then it will create a lot of traffic problem. So that can be taken care through underground structure. At the time of construction it may create little problem. Once it is done, there won't be any problem. So imagine for today's Bangalore Metro that the tunnel which is used from National College to Malleshwaram through Kempegowda terminal. So that whole thing is underground. Imagine the same thing above the ground, how it would have been. So similarly in the other metro, that is from railway station to Vidhan Soda, that whole thing is below the ground. In certain contexts, underground structure will be cheaper for crossing the mountain or river. This is in certain contexts I am specifying, instead of any bridge or any other kind of structure. How a tunnel is constructed in a riverbed. Dig a trench in the riverbed or ocean floor. Then sink pre-made steel or concrete tubes in the trench. Cover the tube with thick layer of rock. Connect the sections of tubes and pump out any remaining water. So this is the way that you can construct a tunnel and all below the riverbed also. There are three types of basic tunnel construction that is in common use. One is cut and cover tunnel. constructed in shallow trench and then it is covered. So that means you dig and then do whatever structure you want and then fill it back. The other one is bore tunnel. So constructed in situ without removing the ground above. So in this case, the advantage is that bore tunnel, one machine is used and that will carve out the tunnel. It will not disturb anything above. So the same principle or method is used for our metro also. Then immersed tube tunnel. So here it is sunk into a body of water and laid or buried just under its bed. And another question is why tunnels are not straight. Most of the time they are curved. It is mainly due to vision. The ambient light level is very low in tunnel and suddenly if you see something bright, any light will appear very bright and it may disturb the eyes. To prevent this, the tunnels are always made into curves. A straight tunnel would be dazzled by the brightness of light at the end of the tunnel. Hence curves are built so that the light travel gradually increases. There are few advantages of underground structure. They are less susceptible to physical intrusion and natural disaster. So this is one advantage. Then offer constant temperature. This is very important because in anything above the ground you will have different type of temperature in different seasons. Whereas anything below the ground it will be always constant. And due to this it consumes very less energy. And they are not susceptible to any fickle nature of above ground weather. So underground homes, generally they cost 20 to 30% more than cost of constructing any structure above the ground. Caves and dugouts are the most common structure as underground structures. Living spaces look and feel just like a regular luxurious house. They are also resistant to fire because of their concrete and steel construction and dirt covering. So you can see a few slides in the coming one. Thank you. If you open this link, you will see the construction process of English Channel, which is very interesting underground structure. So it will be very helpful to you. If you do this assignment, so then it will be very useful to understand. This is very useful link to understand underground structures, especially the different types. The cut and cover type, then bottom up type, so then top down type. All these things are very nicely explained with sketches. Please go through this, and if you answer, so then you can easily understand, and also from exam point of view also this will be useful. Thank you.